Section 1. A question on a form. Have you ever stopped to wonder about the words we use every day? Consider a simple word found on forms across the world. Caucasian. Here, a modern government form with the checkbox Caucasian next to an old hand-drawn map of the Caucasus. For many, it's a box to be ticked. For many, it's a label for people of European descent. We use it, often without a second thought. But if we pause, a question arises. Why this word? Why would people from London, or Rome, or Stockholm be named after the Caucasus? The Caucasus, a rugged mountain range, the Black Sea, the Caspian Sea. The answer is a story, not of mountains, but of ideas. Section 2. The Age of Order. Our story begins in the late 1700s, a period in Europe known as the Enlightenment. This was an age of tremendous intellectual curiosity. Thinkers and scientists were driven by a powerful urge to understand the world through observation and reason. They cataloged plants, charted the stars, classified the animal kingdom with meticulous care. They turned this lens of classification upon humanity itself. They sought to create a neat system for the diversity of human beings, arranging people into groups based on what they could observe. Into this world stepped Johann Friedrich Blumenbach. A respected professor and naturalist, he amassed a vast collection of human skulls from around the world. To him, skulls were scientific data. He measured them, compared shapes, and noted features to understand human variation. He was trying to map the human family tree with his tools and ideas. Blumenbach proposed 5 principal varieties: races, Mongolian, Malayan, Ethiopian, American, Caucasian. He based these categories on skin color, hair texture, and the shape of the skull, craniometry. His system aimed to be descriptive and scientific, but creating boxes invited others to order them from top to bottom. Section 3. A skull from a mountain. But why the Caucasus? Of all the places in the world, why this region? The answer lies in his collection. Hundreds of skulls. One captivated him. It was the skull of a woman from Georgia in the Caucasus. Show 18th century anatomical skull labeled Georgian female. He called it perfectly formed, symmetrical, exceptionally beautiful. To him, it was the ideal cranial form, an origin point. Blumenbach's choice was shaped by the beliefs of his time. The story of Noah's Ark and its landing on Mount Ararat. Scholars thought the region was humanity's post-flood cradle. Blumenbach theorized Caucasus people remained the purest descendants. He wrote, "In my opinion, it is in this region, and in its neighborhood, that man was created with the greatest probability." He saw other human varieties as having developed from this Caucasian original. He pictured a branching tree with the Caucasian form at the trunk, and so the word Caucasian was born. Section 4. The Great Human Journey. To find the true story of human origins, we must leave the 18th century study and travel much, much further back in time. Modern science, through genetics and archaeology, tells a different tale. It is a story not of a single perfect type, but of a long, remarkable journey. This journey began not in the Caucasus, but in Africa, the true cradle of all humanity. Between 60,000 and 70,000 years ago, small groups of modern humans began to venture out, embarking on an expansion that would eventually populate every corner of the globe. This was not a single, coordinated migration, but a slow, halting process that unfolded over millennia. Imagine small bands of hunter-gatherers, perhaps just a few families, moving a few miles into new territory in a generation. They followed coastlines, traced river valleys, and crossed land bridges that no longer exist. As they moved, they adapted. They encountered new climates, new food sources, and new challenges. These adaptations, playing out over thousands of generations, gave rise to the wonderful spectrum of human physical variation we see today, from skin pigmentation. Now, let us return to the Caucasus region itself and the land surrounding it. While it may not be the single point of origin for all humanity as Blumenbach supposed, this area is undeniably one of the world's most important and ancient crossroads. Situated between Europe and Asia, bridging the Near East with the steppes of the North, this region has been a hub of human activity for millennia. Anatolia, the Levant, Mesopotamia, Persia form a vast corridor through which people, goods, and ideas have flowed since the dawn of civilization. Think of the great empires that rose and fell here: the Hittites, the Assyrians, the Babylonians, the Persians, the Romans. Each one conquered, ruled, and connected vast territories. Armies marched, administrators traveled, merchants plied their trades along sprawling networks of roads. The famous Silk Road, the artery of the ancient world, passed through this very region. Silk, spices, languages, religions, technologies, and of course, genes. People from distant lands met in bustling market cities, in caravanserais, and in royal courts. Blumenbach's neat, five-part division of humanity was a powerful idea, but even in the 19th century, cracks began to appear in this elegant facade. As explorers, missionaries, colonial administrators traveled to ever more remote parts of the world, they sent back reports, stories, and indeed, more skulls. The sheer diversity of humankind they encountered began to overwhelm the simple categories. They found people who did not fit neatly into any of the 5 boxes. The lines that had seemed so clear and sharp from a study in Germany began to look fuzzy and indistinct on the ground. Scientists themselves began to question the framework. As more and more skulls were collected and measured, they found that the variation within any one of Blumenbach's proposed races was often greater than the average difference between them. There was no single Caucasian skull shape, but a wide and overlapping range of forms. The same was true for skin color. Within Europe, for example, there is a clear gradient of skin tones from north to south. Where precisely did one draw the line? Every attempt to create a rigid boundary proved to be arbitrary. In the 20th century, anthropologists like Franz Boas conducted studies showing that the features used to define races, such as head shape, were not fixed and unchanging. He demonstrated that the head shapes of the children of immigrants often differed significantly from those of their parents, likely due to changes in diet and environment. The biological determinism underlying the concept was beginning to crumble. Today, the revolution in genetics has given us a tool of unimaginable power, allowing us to read the book of our own history written in our DNA. And when geneticists look for the biological basis of the old racial categories, they simply do not find it. There is no race gene. So, what does the journey of this one word teach us? It shows us that ideas, like people, have histories. The deeper we look into human history, the more simple lines of division dissolve. New maps must show gradients. New maps must show flows. New maps must show connections. The human story is not one of separate trees growing in isolation. It is a single, vast, intricately interwoven banyan grove. This does not mean we are all the same. Cultural diversity is real and precious. Linguistic diversity is real and precious. Physical diversity is real and precious. They are beautiful, varied outcomes of a shared journey. They testify to our species' ability to adapt, to explore, to create new ways of being. The deeper we look into the past, the harder it becomes to draw simple lines between peoples. Human history is not a story of separate worlds. It is a story of movement, exchange, adaptation, and connection. This is Origins Unknown. Join us as we explore the story of humanity before borders.